It's been a while, but we are going to work as a taxi driver. And what I mean is, avatar change. She has to wait episode 59 or 60 for it.
I want McDonald's. Give me some fucking McDonald's, right now.
I got the job. Let's get this shit rolling. Let's fire this bad bitch up like he's a bad bunny. Stupid car that said, I want McDonald's. Give me some fucking McDonald's, right now. Welcome to the taxi. Where would you like to go?
I would like to get a ride to Muncie, Indiana, please.
Sorry, but Muncie, Indiana is on a lockdown.
Are you sure? Because I just want to have a vacation there and go one of the hotels, Courtyard by Marriott Muncie at Horizon Convention Center, Holiday Inn Express Anamp, Suites Muncie, an IHG Hotel, Hampton Inn Anamp, Suites Muncie, Days Inn by Wyndham Muncie Ballstar University, Super 8 by Wyndham Muncie, Ball Street College area, Best Western Muncie, Comfort in Anamp, Suites Muncie Anamp, Fairfield in Muncie.
Fine. You know what? Get your stupid ass, dry ass, bone ass, dry bone ass, Koopa ass looking ass in the taxi. Shut the fuck up and quit annoying me before I make you get out and I run your Koopa ass over.
How long will this take?
I don't know. A day or 3. Ha 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 ha.
You seem very suspicious, so I don't trust you.
Oh 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 oh. How dare you call me that? That's it. Pay me $200. Right now.
How about no?
7 words. Shut the fucking dry bone ass up.
How about no?
We are here. I don't give a fuck. Get out of my taxi.
Not until you take me out where Kim Jong-un is.
You are at the hospital! Administration is right here!
I'm going to the emergency room, sir.
Get in there! Get out of my car now!
Where is my destination?
Get out of my car now!
Sir, I'm asking you...
Get out of my car now! I have the right to tell you when to get out of my car. It's right now.
I don't know where I am. I'm asking you where is my destination. If you would kindly point at where I am supposed to go.
Pulled into your destination. It said here I was at your destination. It's over. Get out of my car now.
It said 1760.
Get out of my car now.
Sir, it said...
Get out of my car now.
Why are you yelling at me?
Because you won't fucking get out of my car.
But you're not to yell at me. You are not to yell at me.
1.
Do it. Do it. Do it.
Get out of my car.
Where is my destination?
Get out of my car.
Sir, can you just tell me...
Get out of my goddamn car! Now!
Sir, can you please tell me where my destination is?
I don't give a shit. Get out of the car now.
Can you please tell me where my destination is?
The ride is over. You have been extremely rude, extremely condescending.
How have I been extremely rude?
You kept me waiting way too long. You showed up and told me you were in a hurry when you showed no actual effort to be in a hurry. Get out of my car now.
I am just
Get out of my car now.
I don't know where I am.
Get out of my car now. God damn you to hell.
Sir.
Get out of my car.
I am asking you...
Get out of my car! It is my. is my fucking goddamn property! Get out! Now! Now!
You are facing
Get
very...
out right fucking now!
You are facing...
Get out of my car! I'm facing a fucking moron! Get out! Now!
You're facing...
Now!
You have no right to scream at me?
I will fucking talk to you any goddamn way I want.
Really?
Yes, I fucking will. And I have the right.
You have the right to scream at me?
Get out of my car!
You have the right to scream at me.
I have asked you to leave my car multiple times.
And
Get out of
I
my
am
car.
asking you in a
Get out
very
of my
educated
car!
manner, where am I?
You're at a hospital where
Where-
you need to be. Get out of my car!
Oh,
Can you get her out of my car, please?
I can't put hands on.
Where is the emergency room?
That's on the other side. I'll walk you.
On the other side?
Yeah, I'll walk you over. No,
Get out of my car!
she's too.
No. 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 I won't leave and you won't make me.
That's it, you slut.
Wow 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 wow. Help. 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 Help.
Welcome to the taxi. Where would you like to go? I would like to go to McDonald's, please. I'm sorry, but McDonald's is closed up until my 108th job. So what? I can. Hold up. Aren't you 6 years old? Yes. Why? Fuck you. Many studies in North America have shown that adolescents left at home alone feel lonely, have worries, and experience fear, and are also at risk of antisocial behavior such as truancy, stealing, and drinking. 6 to 8. The result is that many kids left alone don't develop the social skills of their peers. In order to stay safe, they aren't out playing with other kids and learning how to get along. Obesity is common. Being home alone and staying indoors means that many of these kids aren't running around or biking or playing. In North Carolina, it is a felony for the parent or anyone supervising a child under 16 whose willful act or grossly negligent omission in the care of the child shows a reckless disregard for human life is guilty of a Class C felony if the act or omission results in serious bodily injury to the child. For Indiana, Leaving a child home alone under circumstances where they are not physically harmed may be classified as a misdemeanor. Situations where a parent or guardian intentionally abandons a child may rise to a felony, especially with an infant or young child. Fine. I'm leaving. Wah 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 wah.
Shut the fuck up. You're a fucking cunt. Shut the fuck up. You're a stupid cunt. Suck my dick. Shut the fuck up. Stop being a fucking cunt. Shut the fuck up. Nobody even wants you here. Yeah. What? Yeah. I just wanna let you know, you're a stupid fucking cunt. Go ahead and run your mouth, pussy, I don't give a fuck. You're a stupid piece of shit, you're a stupid fucking bitch. Get the fuck up off my dick, get the fuck up off my dick. Like, please end your fucking life, please end your fucking life. I really gotta emphasize, no one cares if you're alive. You're a fucking penis hole, grab a dick and eat it whole. I need to know if you were dropped when you were just a fetus though. You're so fucking ugly and your face is fucking foul. Jeez, you're so fucking loud, can you shut your fucking mouth? Can you shut the fuck up? You're a fucking cunt. Shut the fuck up. You're a stupid cunt. Suck my dick. Shut the fuck up. Stop being a fucking cunt. Shut the fuck up. Nobody even wants you here. Yeah. Close your fucking mouth, you're just really fucking dense. If you hate me while you talking, you don't make no fucking sense. Got a sad life, go to fucking hell. Are you stupid or disabled, man? I can't fucking tell. Man, you're a fucking dumb shit, you don't even run shit. Get the fuck up out my face and go to hell and eat a dick. Come and catch these hands, boy, come and match these bands, boy. I'm not crazy, I just do it all because I can, boy. I hope you fucking die in a high-speed car crash. I hope you fucking fall head first and get your neck cracked. I hope you have some beautiful children that die from cancer. I hope you catch Zika when your wife gets pregnant. I hope you win the lottery and die the next day, and your daughter has to see you getting lowered in your grave. Like, that was a little dark. I'm sorry. That was a little dark. Very poor taste. Shut the fuck up. I shouldn't have said that. You're a fucking cunt. Actually, no, I should have. Shut the fuck up. I didn't say enough. You're a stupid cunt. Suck my dick. Shut the fuck up. Stop being a fucking cunt. Shut the fuck up. Nobody even wants you here.
Welcome to the taxi. Where would you like to go?
I would like to get a ride to Anytime Fitness, please.
Okay, that'll be $1 million.
What? How can a ride cost that much? The real price for a ride should cost much lower.
Don't you want to go to Anytime Fitness to get some exercise to work your butt off?
I do want to go to Anytime Fitness to work my ass off. But the ride to here from there should be $35. And the price you mentioned is so far off as fuck.
Okay, $35 it is then. Pay up and I'll take you there. Yay 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 I'm so excited. Shut the fuck up and quit annoying me before I make you get out and I run your water ass over like I tried to with the dry Koopa ass.
Hello. Thanks for calling the Indianapolis Taxi Service. How may I help you?
Hello. I'm calling to report an employee. Their name is Fakey. She dropped me off to North Korea when I wanted a vacation over at Muncie, Indiana. Can you fire her, please?
She did what? Oh 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 oh. Thanks for telling me this. She's going to be so fired.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Would you like music?
Yes, please.
Alright, we're here.
Wait. What? It doesn't look like we're in Indianapolis at all. There isn't even a Anytime Fitness nearby. Where did you take me to that is so far from Indianapolis?
I tricked you. I made you waste $35 and took you to Antarctica. Now you're stranded with no jacket, no nothing. Ha 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 ha
God. I can't believe you made me waste $35 by taking me to Antarctica. This isn't a damn good funny joke at all. You're not funny, you're an asshole to everyone. Not even a slightest for a taxi driver like yourself. That's it. I'm going home, and I'm not taking the taxi again until you get fired.
She's gone. So, we'll talk about Antarctica on the way back. This article is about the continent. For the region, see Antarctic. For other uses, see Antarctica. Disambiguation. Antipodia redirects here. For Australia and New Zealand, see Australasia. Antarctica. This map uses an orthographic projection, near polar aspect. The South Pole is near the center, where longitudinal lines converge. Area 14,200,000 square kilometers, 5,500,000 square miles. 1. Population 1,300 to 5,100. Seasonal. Population density 0.00009/km2 to 0.00036/km2. Seasonal. Countries. 7 territorial claims. Time zones. All time zones. Internet. TLDR. Largest settlements. McMurdoch Station. Other research stations. UNM 49 Code 010. Composite satellite image of Antarctica, 2002. Antarctica /A broken bar N diaresis T E apostrophe diaresis RKTE superscript AKETM /A note 1. Is Earth's southernmost and least populated continent, situated almost entirely south of the Antarctic Circle and surrounded by the Southern Ocean, also known as the Antarctic Ocean. It contains the geographic South Pole. Antarctica is the 5th largest continent, being about 40% larger than Europe, and has an area of 14,200,000 square kilometers. 5,500,000 square miles. Most of Antarctica is covered by the Antarctic ice sheet, with an average thickness of 1.9 kilometers, 1.2 miles. Antarctica is, on average, the coldest, driest, and windiest of the continents, and it has the highest average elevation. It is mainly a polar desert, with annual precipitation of over 200 millimeters, 8 in, along the coast and far less inland. About 70% of the world's freshwater reserves are frozen in Antarctica, which, if melted, would raise global sea levels by almost 60 meters, 200 feet. Antarctica holds the record for the lowest measured temperature on Earth, A'89.28 degrees C, A'128.68 degrees F. The coastal regions can reach temperatures over 10 degrees C, 58 degrees F, in the summer. Native species of animals include mites, nematodes, penguins, seals and tardigrades. Where vegetation occurs, it is mostly in the form of lichen or moss. The ice shelves of Antarctica were probably first seen in 1820, during a Russian expedition led by Fabian Gottlieb von Bellingshausen and Mikhail Lazarev. The decades that followed saw further exploration by French, American, and British expeditions. The first confirmed landing was by a Norwegian team in 1895. In the early 20th century, there were a few expeditions into the interior of the continent. British explorers were the first to reach the magnetic South Pole in 1909, and the geographic South Pole was first reached in 1911 by Norwegian explorers. Antarctica is governed by about 30 countries, all of which are parties of the 1959 Antarctic Treaty System. According to the terms of the treaty, military activity, mining, nuclear explosions, and nuclear waste disposal are all prohibited in Antarctica. Tourism, fishing and research are the main human activities in and around Antarctica. During the summer months, about 5,000 people reside at research stations, a figure that drops to around 1,000 in the winter. Despite the continent's remoteness, human activity has a significant effect on it via pollution, ozone depletion, and climate change. The melting of the potentially unstable West Antarctic ice sheet causes the most uncertainty in century-scale projections of sea level rise, and the same melting also affects the Southern Ocean, overturning circulation, which can eventually lead to significant impacts on the Southern Hemisphere climate and Southern Ocean productivity. Etymology. 17th century map of the Antarctic region. A speculative representation of Antarctica labeled as Terra Australis Incognita on Jan Jansonius's Zika Art van het Zuidpoolgebied, 1657, Hixiepa Art Museum. The name given to the continent originates from the word Antarctic, which comes from Middle French Antarctique or Antarctique, opposite to the Arctic, and, in turn, the Latin Antarcticus, opposite to the north. Antarcticus is derived from the Greek A1/4 I circumflex 1/2 I diaresis I circumflex superscript 1, anti, and A1/4 I diaresis I circumflex superscript O I diaresis I circumflex superscript 1 I circumflex superscript O I, of the bear, northern. 4. The Greek philosopher Aristotle wrote in Meteorology about an Antarctic region in c.A 350 BCE. 5. The Greek geographer Marinus of Tyre reportedly used the name in his world map from the 2nd centuries, now lost. The Roman authors Gaius Julius Hyginus and Apuleius used for the South Pole the Romanized Greek name Polus Antarcticus, 6, from which derived the Old French Pole Antarctique, modern Pal Antarctique, attested in 1270, and from there the Middle English Pal Antarctic, found first in a treatise written by the English author Geoffrey Chaucer. 4. Belief by Europeans in the existence of a Terra Australis, a vast continent in the far south of the globe to balance the northern lands of Europe, Asia, and North Africa had existed as an intellectual concept since classical antiquity. The belief in such a land lasted until the European discovery of Australia. 7. During the early 19th century, explorer Matthew Flinders doubted the existence of a detached continent south of Australia, then called New Holland, and thus advocated for the Terra Australis name to be used for Australia instead. 8-9. In 1824, the colonial authorities in Sydney officially renamed the continent of New Holland to Australia, leaving the term Terra Australis unavailable as a reference to Antarctica. Over the following decades, geographers used phrases such as the Antarctic continent. They searched for a more poetic replacement, suggesting names such as Ultima and Antipodia. 10. Antarctica was adopted in the 1890s, with the first use of the name being attributed to the Scottish cartographer John George Bartholomew. 11. Geography main article, Geography of Antarctica. See also, Extreme points of Antarctica, List of mountains in Antarctica, List of ultras of Antarctica, and List of places in Antarctica. Map of Antarctica. Eastern Antarctica is to the right of the Transantarctic Mountains and Western Antarctica is to the left, positioned asymmetrically around the South Pole and largely south of the Antarctic Circle, one of the 5 major circles of latitude that mark maps of the world. Antarctica is surrounded by the Southern Ocean. Note 2. Rivers exist in Antarctica. The longest is the Onyx. Antarctica covers more than 14.2 million km2, 5,500,000 square miles, almost double the area of Australia, making it the 5th largest continent. Its coastline is almost 18,000 kilometers, 11,200 miles, long. 1. As of 1983, of the 4 coastal types, 44% of the coast is floating ice in the form of an ice shelf, 38% consists of ice walls that rest on rock, 13% is ice streams or the edge of glaciers, and the remaining 5% is exposed rock. 13. The lakes that lie at the base of the continental ice sheet occur mainly in the McMurdoch Dry valleys or various oases. 14. Lake Vostok, discovered beneath Russia's Vostok Station, is the largest subglacial lake globally and one of the largest lakes in the world. It was once believed that the lake had been sealed off for millions of years, but scientists now estimate its water is replaced by the slow melting and freezing of ice caps every 13,000 years. 15. During the summer, the ice at the edges of the lakes can melt, and liquid moats temporarily form. Antarctica has both saline and freshwater lakes. 14. Antarctica is divided into West Antarctica and East Antarctica by the Transantarctic Mountains, which stretch from Victoria Land to the Ross Sea. 1617, the vast majority of Antarctica is covered by the Antarctic ice sheet, which averages 1.9 kilometers, 1.2 miles, in thickness. 18. The ice sheet extends to all but a few oases, which, with the exception of the McMurdoch Dry valleys, are located in coastal areas. 19. Several Antarctic ice streams flow to one of the many Antarctic ice shelves, a process described by ice sheet dynamics. 20. Photograph of Vinson Massif. Vinson Massif from the northwest, the highest peak in Antarctica. East Antarctica comprises Coates Land, Queen Ward Land, Enderby Land, Mac Robertson Land, Wilkes Land, and Victoria Land. All but a small portion of the region lies within the Eastern Hemisphere. East Antarctica is largely covered by the East Antarctic ice sheet. 21. There are numerous islands surrounding Antarctica, most of which are volcanic and very young by geological standards. 22. The most prominent exceptions to this are the islands of the Kerguelen Plateau, the earliest of which formed around 40 Ma. 22-23. Vinson Massif, in the Ellsworth Mountains, is the highest peak in Antarctica at 4,892 meters, 16,050 feet. 24. Mount Erebus on Ross Island is the world's southernmost active volcano and erupts around 10 times each day. Ash from eruptions has been found 300 kilometers, 190 miles, from the volcanic crater. 25. There is evidence of a large number of volcanoes under the ice, which could pose a risk to the ice sheet if activity levels were to rise. 26. The ice dome known as Dome Argus in East Antarctica is the highest Antarctic ice feature, at 4,091 meters, 13,422 feet. It is one of the world's coldest and driest places. The temperatures there may reach as low as A'98 degrees C, A'138 degrees F, and the annual precipitation is 1A3 centimeters, 0.39 A1.18 N. 27. Geologic history. Main article, Geology of Antarctica. Further information, Geology of the Antarctic Peninsula. From the end of the Neoproterozoic era to the Cretaceous, Antarctica was part of the supercontinent Gondwana. 28. Modern Antarctica was formed as Gondwana gradually broke apart beginning around 183 Ma. 29. For a large proportion of the Phanerozoic, Antarctica had a tropical or temperate climate, and it was covered in forests. 30. Paleozoic era, 548-250 Ma. Glossopteris sp. Leaf from the Permian of Antarctica during the Cambrian period, Gondwana had a mild climate. 31. West Antarctica was partially in the northern hemisphere, and during the time, large amounts of sandstones, limestones, and shales were deposited. East Antarctica was at the equator, where seafloor invertebrates and trilobites flourished in the tropical seas. By the start of the Devonian period, 416 Ma, Gondwana was in more southern latitudes, and the climate was cooler, though fossils of land plants are known from then. Sand and silts were laid down in what is now the Ellsworth, Horlick and Pensacola Mountains. Antarctica became glaciated during the late Paleozoic icehouse beginning at the end of the Devonian period, 360 Ma, though glaciation would substantially increase during the late Carboniferous. It drifted closer to the South Pole, and the climate cooled, though flora remained. 32. After deglaciation during the latter half of the early Permian, the land became dominated by Glossopterids, an extinct group of seed plants with no close living relatives, most prominently Glossopteris, a tree interpreted as growing in waterlogged soils, which formed extensive coal deposits. Other plants found in Antarctica during the Permian include chordaeitals, sphenopsids, ferns, and lycophytes. 33. At the end of the Permian, the climate became drier and hotter over much of Gondwana, and the Glossopterid forest ecosystems collapsed, as part of the end-Permian mass extinction. 33-34. There is no evidence of any pteropods having lived in Antarctica during the Paleozoic. 35. Mesozoic era, 250-66 Ma. The continued warming dried out much of Gondwana. During the Triassic, Antarctica was dominated by seed ferns, pteridosperms, belonging to the genus Dichoroidium, which grew as trees. Other associated Triassic flora included ginkgophytes, cycadophytes, conifers, and sphenopsids. 36. Pteropods first appeared in Antarctica during the early Triassic, with the earliest known fossils found in the Freem Formation of the Transantarctic Mountains. 35. Synapsids, also known as mammal-like reptiles, included species such as Lystrosaurus, and were common during the early Triassic. 37. The Antarctic Peninsula began to form during the Jurassic period, 206 to 146 million years ago. 38. Ginkgo trees, conifers, pinnatidals, horsetails, ferns and cycads were plentiful during the time. 39. In West Antarctica, coniferous forests dominated throughout the Cretaceous period, 146-66 Ma, though southern beech trees, Notophagus, became prominent towards the end of the Cretaceous. 40-41. Ammonites were common in the seas around Antarctica, and dinosaurs were also present, though only a few Antarctic dinosaur genera, Cryolophosaurus and Glacialoceras, from the early Jurassic Hansen Formation of the Transantarctic Mountains. 42. And Antarctoplata, Trinisora, Maurosaurus and Improbiter from late Cretaceous of the Antarctic Peninsula, have been described. 43-44-45-46. Gondwana breakup, 160-15 Ma. Breakup of Gondwana at c. A 150 Ma, left, c. 126 Ma, center, and at c. 83 Ma, right. Note 3. Africa separated from Antarctica in the Jurassic around 160 Ma, followed by the Indian subcontinent in the early Cretaceous, about 125 Ma. 47. During the early Paleogene, Antarctica remained connected to South America as well as to southeastern Australia. Fauna from the Lameseda Formation in the Antarctic Peninsula, dating to the Eocene, is very similar to equivalent South American faunas with marsupials, xenarthrans, Litoptern, and Astropotherian ungulates, as well as gondwanatheres and possibly Meridiolestidans. 48-49. Marsupials are thought to have dispersed into Australia via Antarctica by the early Eocene. 50. Around 53 Ma, Australia New Guinea separated from Antarctica, opening the Tasmanian Passage. 51. The Drake Passage opened between Antarctica and South America around 30 Ma, resulting in the creation of the Antarctic Circumpolar Current that completely isolated the continent. 52. Models of Antarctic geography suggest that this current, as well as a feedback loop caused by lowering CO2 levels, caused the creation of small yet permanent polar ice caps. As CO2 levels declined further, the ice began to spread rapidly, replacing the forests that until then had covered Antarctica. 53. Tundra ecosystems continued to exist on Antarctica until around 1410 million years ago, when further cooling led to their extermination. 54. Present day. Map of the tectonic plates of the Southern Hemisphere. The Antarctic Plate. The geology of Antarctica, largely obscured by the continental ice sheet. 55. Is being revealed by techniques such as remote sensing, ground-penetrating radar, and satellite imagery. 56. Geologically, West Antarctica closely resembles the South American Andes. 57. The Antarctic Peninsula was formed by geologic uplift and the transformation of seabed sediments into metamorphic rocks. 58. West Antarctica was formed by the merging of several continental plates, which created a number of mountain ranges in the region, the most prominent being the Ellsworth Mountains. The presence of the West Antarctic Rift System has resulted in volcanism along the border between West and East Antarctica, as well as the creation of the Transantarctic Mountains. 59. East Antarctica is geologically varied. Its formation began during the Archean, 4000 Ma 2500 Ma, and stopped during the Cambrian period. 60. It is built on a craton of rock, which is the basis of the Precambrian shield. 61. On top of the base are coal and sandstones, limestones, and shales that were laid down during the Devonian and Jurassic periods to form the Transantarctic Mountains. 62. In coastal areas such as the Shackleton Range and Victoria Land, some faulting has occurred. 63-64. Coal was first recorded in Antarctica near the Beardmore Glacier by Frank Wild on the Nimrod expedition in 1907, and low-grade coal is known to exist across many parts of the Transantarctic Mountains. 65. The Prince Charles Mountains contain deposits of iron ore. 66. There are oil and national gas fields in the Ross Sea. 67. Climate main article, Climate of Antarctica. Photograph of blue ice on water in the foreground, with a snowy mountain in the background. Blue ice covering Lake Fryxell, in the Transantarctic Mountains. Two men looking at a penguin on a sunny day. Temperate conditions near the coast in December. Antarctica is the coldest, windiest, and driest of Earth's continents. 1. Near the coast, the temperature can exceed 10 degrees C in summer and fall to below '48 degrees C in winter. Over the elevated inland, it can rise to about '38 degrees C in summer but fall below '88 degrees C in winter. The lowest natural air temperature ever recorded on Earth was '89.28 degrees C, '128.68 degrees F, at the Russian Vostok Station in Antarctica on July 21, 1983. 68. A lower air temperature of '94.78 degrees C, '138.58 degrees F, was recorded in 2010 by satellite. However, it may have been influenced by ground temperatures and was not recorded at a height of 2 meters, 7 feet, above the surface as required for official air temperature records. 69. 70. Antarctica is a polar desert with little precipitation. The continent receives an average equivalent to about 150 millimeters, 6 in, of water per year, mostly in the form of snow. The interior is drier and receives less than 50 millimeters, 2 in, per year, whereas the coastal regions typically receive more than 200 millimeters, 8 in. 71. In a few blue ice areas, the wind and sublimation remove more snow than is accumulated by precipitation. 72. In the dry valleys, the same effect occurs over a rock base, leading to a barren and desiccated landscape. 73. Antarctica is colder than the Arctic region, as much of Antarctica is over 3,000 meters, 9,800 feet, Above sea level, where air temperatures are colder, the relative warmth of the Arctic Ocean is transferred to the Arctic sea ice and moderates temperatures in the Arctic region. 74. Regional differences. East Antarctica is colder than its western counterpart because of its higher elevation. Weather fronts rarely penetrate far into the continent, leaving the center cold and dry, with moderate wind speeds. Heavy snowfalls are common on the coastal portion of Antarctica, where snowfalls of up to 1.22 meters, 48 in 48 hours have been recorded. At the continent's edge, strong katabatic winds off of the polar plateau often blow at storm force. During the summer, more solar radiation reaches the surface at the South Pole than at the equator because of the 24 hours of sunlight received there each day. 1. Climate change. This section is an excerpt from Climate Change in Antarctica. Edit. Antarctic surface ice layer temperature trends between 1981 and 2007, based on thermal infrared observations made by a series of NOAA satellite sensors. Climate change caused by greenhouse gas emissions from human activities occurs everywhere on Earth, and while Antarctica is less vulnerable to it than any other continent, 75, climate change in Antarctica has already been observed. There has been an average temperature increase of greater than 0.058 degrees C/decade since 1957 across the continent, although it had been uneven. 76. While West Antarctica warmed by over 0.18 degrees C/decade from the 1950s to the 2000s, and the exposed Antarctic Peninsula has warmed by 3 degrees C, 5.48 degrees F, since the mid-20th century. 77. The colder and more stable East Antarctica had been experiencing cooling until the 2000s. 78-79. Around Antarctica, the Southern Ocean has absorbed more heat than any other ocean, 80, with particularly strong warming at depths below 2,000 meters, 6,600 feet. 81, AS 1230 AS, and around the West Antarctic, which has warmed by 1 degrees C, 1.88 degrees F, since 1955. 77. The warming of Antarctica's territorial waters has caused the weakening or outright collapse of ice shelves, which flowed just offshore of glaciers and stabilize them. Many coastal glaciers have been losing mass and retreating, which causes net annual ice loss across Antarctica. 81. AS 1264 AS. Even as the East Antarctic ice sheet continues to gain ice inland, by 2100, net ice loss from Antarctica alone is expected to add about 11 centimeters, 5 in, to global sea level rise. However, marine ice sheet instability may cause West Antarctica to contribute tens of centimeters more if it is triggered before 2100. 81. AS 1270 AS. With higher warming, instability would be much more likely, and could double overall 21st century sea level rise. 82, 83, 84. The fresh meltwater from the ice, 1,100 to 1,500 billion tons, GT, per year, dilutes the saline Antarctic bottom water. 85, 86, thus weakening the lower cell of the Southern Ocean, overturning circulation. 81. AS 1240 AS. Some research tentatively suggests a full collapse of the circulation may occur between 1.78 degrees C, 3.18 degrees F, and 3 degrees C, 5.48 degrees F, of global warming. 87. Although the full effects are expected to unfold over multiple centuries, they include less precipitation in the southern hemisphere but more in the northern hemisphere, and an eventual decline of fisheries in the Southern Ocean with a potential collapse of certain marine ecosystems. 88. Furthermore, while many Antarctic species remain undiscovered, there are already documented increases in flora, and large fauna such as penguins are already seen struggling to retain suitable habitat. On ice-free land, permafrost thaws, releasing not only greenhouse gases, but also formerly frozen pollution. 89. The West Antarctic ice sheet will probably eventually all melt, 90, 91, 92, unless temperatures are reduced to 8 degrees C, 3.68 degrees F, below year 2020 levels. 93. The loss of this ice sheet would take between 2,000 and 13,000 years. 94-95. although several centuries of high emissions could shorten this to 500 years. 96. 3.3 meters, 10 feet 10 in, of sea level rise would occur if the ice sheet collapses but leaves ice caps on the mountains behind, and 4.3 meters, 14 feet 1 in, if those melt as well. 97. Isostatic rebound may also add around 1 meter, 3 feet 3 in, to global sea levels over another 1,000 years. 96. The East Antarctic ice sheet is far more stable and may only cause 0.5 meters, 1 foot 8 in minus 0.9 meters, 2 feet 11 in, of sea level rise from the current level of warming, which is a small fraction of the 53.3 meters, 175 feet, contained in the full ice sheet. 98. Around 3A degrees C, 5.4A degrees F. Vulnerable locations like Wilkes Basin and Ora Basin may collapse over a period of around 2,000 years, 94-95, which would add up to 6.4 meters, 21 feet 0 in, to sea levels. 96. The East Antarctic ice sheet would only completely melt with global warming between 5A degrees C, 9.0A degrees F, and 10A degrees C, 18A degrees F, and would require at least 10,000 years to disappear. 94-95, ozone depletion. Main article, ozone hole. Image of the ozone hole spanning almost all of Antarctica. Image of the largest hole in the ozone layer recorded, in September 2006. Scientists have studied the ozone layer in the atmosphere above Antarctica since the 1970s. In 1985, British scientists, working on data they had gathered at Halley Research Station on the Brunt Ice Shelf, discovered a large area of low ozone concentration over Antarctica. 99-100, the ozone hole covers almost the whole continent and was at its largest in September 2006. 101, the longest lasting event occurred in 2020. 102, the depletion is caused by the emission of chlorofluorocarbons and halogens into the atmosphere, which causes ozone to break down into other gases. 103, the extreme cold conditions of Antarctica allow polar stratospheric clouds to form. The clouds act as catalysts for chemical reactions, which eventually lead to the destruction of ozone. 104, the 1987 Montreal Protocol has restricted the emissions of ozone-depleting substances. The ozone hole above Antarctica is predicted to slowly disappear by the 2060s. Levels of ozone are expected to have returned to values last recorded in the 1980s. 105. The ozone depletion can cause a cooling of around 6A degrees C, 11A degrees F, in the stratosphere. The cooling strengthens the polar vortex and so prevents the outflow of the cold air near the South Pole, which in turn cools the continental mass of the East Antarctic ice sheet. The peripheral areas of Antarctica, especially the Antarctic Peninsula, are then subjected to higher temperatures, which accelerate the melting of the ice. 100. Models suggest that ozone depletion and the enhanced polar vortex effect may also account for the period of increasing sea ice extent, lasting from when observations started in the late 1970s until 2014. Since then, the coverage of Antarctic sea ice has decreased rapidly. 106-107. Biodiversity. See also, Antarctic realm, Antarctic microorganism, and wildlife of Antarctica. Most species in Antarctica seem to be the descendants of species that lived there millions of years ago. As such, they must have survived multiple glacial cycles. The species survive the periods of extremely cold climate in isolated warmer areas, such as those with geothermal heat or areas that remained ice-free throughout the colder climate. 108. Animals. Penguins with young. Emperor penguins with juveniles. Invertebrate life of Antarctica includes species of microscopic mites such as Alascozetes antarcticus, lice, nematodes, tardigrades, rotifers, krill and springtails. The few terrestrial invertebrates are limited to the subantarctic islands. 109. The flightless midge. Belgica. Antarctica, the largest purely terrestrial animal in Antarctica, reaches 6 mm, 1A4N, in size. 110. Antarctic grill, which congregates in large schools, is the keystone species of the ecosystem of the Southern Ocean, being an important food organism for whales, seals, leopard seals, fur seals, squid, icefish, and many bird species, such as penguins and albatrosses. 111. Some species of marine animals exist and rely, directly or indirectly, on phytoplankton. Antarctic sea life includes penguins, blue whales, orcas, colossal squids and fur seals. 112. The Antarctic fur seal was very heavily hunted in the 18th and 19th centuries for its pelt by seal hunters from the United States and the United Kingdom. 113. Leopard seals are apex predators in the Antarctic ecosystem and migrate across the Southern Ocean in search of food. 114. There are approximately 40 bird species that breed on or close to Antarctica, including species of petrels, penguins, cormorants, and gulls. Various other bird species visit the ocean around Antarctica, including some that normally reside in the Arctic. 115. The emperor penguin is the only penguin that breeds during the winter in Antarctica. IMNIAD 8 copyright Lie penguin breed farther south than any other penguin. 112. A census of marine life by some 500 researchers during the International Polar Year was released in 2010. The research found that more than 235 marine organisms live in both polar regions, having bridged the gap of 12,000 kilometers. 7,456 miles. Large animals such as some cetaceans and birds make the round trip annually. Smaller forms of life, such as sea cucumbers and free-swimming snails, are also found in both polar oceans. Factors that may aid in their distribution include temperature differences between the deep ocean at the poles and the equator of no more than 5 degrees C, 9 degrees F. And the major current systems or marine conveyor belts which are able to transport eggs and larvae. 116. Fungi. Lichen photographed in Antarctica. An orange lichen, perhaps Caloplaka, growing on the Yallourn Islands, Wilhelm Archipelago. About 1,150 species of fungi have been recorded in the Antarctic region, of which about 750 are non-lichen forming. 117–118, some of the species, having evolved under extreme conditions, have colonized structural cavities within porous rocks and have contributed to shaping the rock formations of the McMurdoch Dry valleys and surrounding mountain ridges. 119. The simplified morphology of such fungi, along with their similar biological structures, metabolism systems capable of remaining active at very low temperatures, and reduced life cycles, make them well suited to such environments. Their thick-walled and strongly melanized cells make them resistant to UV radiation. 119. An Antarctic endemic species, the crust-like lichen Bulia frigida, has been used as a model organism in astrobiology research. 120. The same features can be observed in algae and cyanobacteria, suggesting that they are adaptations to the conditions prevailing in Antarctica. This has led to speculation that life on Mars might have been similar to Antarctic fungi, such as Cryomyces antarcticus and Cryomyces menteri. 119. Some of the species of fungi, which are apparently endemic to Antarctica, live in bird dung, and have evolved so they can grow inside extremely cold dung, but can also pass through the intestines of warm-blooded animals. 121–122. Plants main article, Flora of Antarctica. Further information, Flora Antarctica. Throughout its history, Antarctica has seen a wide variety of plant life. In the Cretaceous, it was dominated by a fern conifer ecosystem, which changed into a temperate rainforest by the end of that period. During the colder Neogene, 1782.5 Ma, a tundra ecosystem replaced the rainforests. The climate of present-day Antarctica does not allow extensive vegetation to form. 123. A combination of freezing temperatures, poor soil quality, and a lack of moisture and sunlight inhibit plant growth, causing low species diversity and limited distribution. The flora largely consists of bryophytes, 25 species of liverworts and 100 species of mosses. There are 3 species of flowering plants, all of which are found in the Antarctic Peninsula: Dischamsia antarctica, Antarctic hairgrass, Colobanthus quiensis, Antarctic pearlwort, and the non-native Poa annua, annual bluegrass. Of the 700 species of algae in Antarctica, around half are marine phytoplankton. Multicolored snow algae are especially abundant in the coastal regions during the summer. 125. Even sea ice can harbor unique ecological communities, as it expels all salt from the water when it freezes, which accumulates into pockets of brine that also harbor dormant microorganisms. When the ice begins to melt, brine pockets expand and can combine to form brine channels, and the algae inside the pockets can reawaken and thrive until the next freeze. 126-127. Bacteria have also been found as deep as 800 meters, 0.50 miles, under the ice. 128. It is thought to be likely that there exists a native bacterial community within the subterranean water body of Lake Vostok. 129. The existence of life there is thought to strengthen the argument for the possibility of life on Jupiter's moon Europa, which may have water beneath its water ice crust. 130. There exists a community of extremophile bacteria in the highly alkaline waters of Lake Untersee. 131-132. The prevalence of highly resilient creatures in such inhospitable areas could further bolster the argument for extraterrestrial life in cold, methane-rich environments. 133. Conservation and Environmental Protection photograph of refuse on an island in Antarctica. Refuse littering the shoreline at Bellingshausen Station on King George Island, photographed in 1992. The first international agreement to protect Antarctica's biodiversity was adopted in 1964. 134. The overfishing of krill, an animal that plays a large role in the Antarctic ecosystem, led officials to enact regulations on fishing. The Convention for the Conservation of Antarctic Marine Living Resources, an international treaty that came into force in 1980, regulates fisheries, aiming to preserve ecological relationships. 1. Despite these regulations, illegal fishing particularly of the highly prized Patagonian toothfish, which is marketed as Chilean sea bass in the U.S.A., remains a problem. 135. In analogy to the 1980 Treaty on Sustainable Fishing, countries led by New Zealand and the United States negotiated a treaty on mining. This Convention on the Regulation of Antarctic Mineral Resource Activities was adopted in 1988. After a strong campaign from environmental organizations, first Australia and then France decided not to ratify the treaty. 136. Instead, countries adopted the Protocol on Environmental Protection to the Antarctic Treaty, the Madrid Protocol, which entered into force in 1998. 137. The Madrid Protocol bans all mining, designating the continent as a natural reserve devoted to peace and science. 138. Photograph of a whale in the Southern Ocean. A whale in the Southern Ocean Whale Sanctuary. The pressure group Greenpeace established a base on Ross Island from 1987 to 1992 as part of its attempt to establish the continent as a world park. 139. The Southern Ocean Whale Sanctuary was established in 1994 by the International Whaling Commission. It covers 50 million km2, 19 million square miles, and completely surrounds the Antarctic continent. All commercial whaling is banned in the zone, though Japan has continued to hunt whales in the area, ostensibly for research purposes. 140. Despite these protections, the biodiversity in Antarctica is still at risk from human activities. Specially protected areas cover less than 2% of the area and provide better protection for animals with popular appeal than for less visible animals. 134. There are more terrestrial protected areas than marine protected areas. 141. Ecosystems are impacted by local and global threats, notably pollution, the invasion of non-native species, and the various effects of climate change. 134. History of exploration. Main articles, History of Antarctica and Colonization of Antarctica. See also, List of Antarctic expeditions, Women in Antarctica, and List of polar explorers. Early world maps, like the 1513 Peary Race map, featured the hypothetical continent Terra Australis, much larger than and unrelated to Antarctica. Terra Australis was a landmass that classical scholars presumed necessary to balance the known lands in the northern hemisphere. 142. Captain James Cook's ships, HMS Resolution and Adventure, crossed the Antarctic Circle on January 17, 1773, in December 1773, and again in January 1774. 143. Cook came within about 120 kilometers, 75 miles, of the Antarctic coast before retreating in the face of field ice in January 1773. 144. In 1775, he called the existence of a polar continent probable, and in another copy of his journal he wrote, "I firmly believe it, and it's more than probable that we have seen a part of it." 145. 19th century picture of A. Copyright Lyland in 1840. A. Copyright Lyland, depicted by Jules Dumont D'Urville in his Voyage au Pôle Sud, 1846. Sealers were among the earliest to go closer to the Antarctic landmass, perhaps in the earlier part of the 19th century. The oldest known human remains in the Antarctic region was a skull, dated from 1819 to 1825, that belonged to a young woman on Yamana Beach at the South Shetland Islands. The woman, who was likely to have been part of a sealing expedition, was found in 1985. 146. The first person to see Antarctica or its ice shelf was long thought to have been the British sailor Edward Bransfield, a captain in the Royal Navy, who discovered the tip of the Antarctic Peninsula on January 30, 1820. However, a captain in the Imperial Russian Navy, Fabian Gottlieb von Bellingshausen, recorded seeing an ice shelf on 27 January. 147. The American sealer Nathaniel Palmer, whose sealing ship was in the region at this time, may also have been the first to sight the Antarctic Peninsula. 148. The first Russian Antarctic expedition, led by Bellingshausen and Mikhail Lazarev on the 985-ton sloop of war Vostok and the 530-ton support vessel Mirny, reached a point within 32 kilometers, 20 miles, of Queen Maud Land and recorded sighting an ice shelf at 69 degrees 21 squared 28 cubed s2 degrees 14 squared 50 cubed w, 149, on January 27, 1820. 150. Note 4. The sighting happened 3 days before Bransfield sighted the land of the Trinity Peninsula of Antarctica, as opposed to the ice of an ice shelf, and 10 months before Palmer did so in November 1820. The first documented landing on Antarctica was by the English-born American sealer John Davis, apparently at Hughes Bay on February 7, 1821, although some historians dispute this claim, as there is no evidence Davis landed on the Antarctic continent rather than an offshore island. 151-152. On January 22, 1840, 2 days after the discovery of the coast west of the Bellini Islands, some members of the crew of the 1837-1840 expedition of the French explorer Jules Dumont D'Urville disembarked on the Dummoulin Islands, off the coast of A. Copyright Lyle, and, where they took some mineral, algae, and animal samples, erected the French flag, and claimed French sovereignty over the territory. 153. The American Captain Charles Wilkes led an expedition in 1838-1839 and was the first to claim he had discovered the continent. 154. The British naval officer James Clark Ross failed to realize that what he referred to as the various patches of land recently discovered by the American, French and English navigators on the verge of the Antarctic Circle were connected to form a single continent. 155-156-157. Note 5. The American explorer Mercator Cooper landed on East Antarctica on January 26, 1853. 160. The first confirmed landing on the continental mass of Antarctica occurred in 1895 when the Norwegian-Swedish whaling ship Antarctic reached Cape Adare. 161. 20th century Shackleton and other explorers in Antarctica. The Nimrod expedition of 1907-1909, left to right, Frank Wild, Ernest Shackleton, Eric Marshall and Jameson Adams during the Nimrod expedition led by the British explorer Ernest Shackleton in 1907, parties led by Edgeworth David became the first to climb Mount Erebus and to reach the South Magnetic Pole. Douglas Mawson, who assumed the leadership of the Magnetic Pole Party on their perilous return, retired in 1931. 162. Between December 1908 and February 1909, Shackleton and 3 members of his expedition became the first humans to traverse the Ross Ice Shelf, the first to cross the Transantarctic Mountains, via the Beardmore Glacier, and the first to set foot on the South Polar Plateau. On December 14, 1911, an expedition led by Norwegian explorer Roald Amundsen from the ship Fram became the first to reach the geographic South Pole, using a route from the Bay of Whales and up the Axel Heiberg Glacier. 163. 1 month later, the doomed Terra Nova expedition reached the pole. 164. The American explorer Richard E. Byrd led 4 expeditions to Antarctica during the 1920s, 1930s, and 1940s, using the first mechanized tractors. His expeditions conducted extensive geographical and scientific research, and he is credited with surveying a larger region of the continent than any other explorer. 165. In 1937, Ingrid Christensen became the first woman to step onto the Antarctic mainland. 166. Carolyn Michelson had landed on an island of Antarctica, earlier in 1935. 167. The South Pole was next reached on October 31, 1956, when a U.S. Navy group led by Rear Admiral George J. Dufek successfully landed an aircraft there. 168. 6 women were flown to the South Pole as a publicity stunt in 1969. 169. Note 6. In the summer of 1996 and 1997, Norwegian explorer Beate Sydillage Ausland became the first person to cross Antarctica alone from coast to coast, helped by a kite on parts of the journey. 170. Ausland holds the record for the fastest unsupported journey to the South Pole, taking 34 days. 171. Population main articles, Demographics of Antarctica and Religion in Antarctica. The first semi-permanent inhabitants of regions near Antarctica, areas situated south of the Antarctic convergence, were British and American sealers who used to spend a year or more on South Georgia, from 1786 onward. During the whaling era, which lasted until 1966, the population of the island varied from over 1,000 in the summer, over 2,000 in some years, to some 200 in the winter. Most of the whalers were Norwegian, with an increasing proportion from Britain. 172. Note 7. Photograph of the South Pole Research Station. The ceremonial South Pole, at Amundsen Scott Station. Antarctica's population consists mostly of the staff of research stations in Antarctica, which are continuously maintained despite the population decline in the winter, although there are 2 all-civilian bases in Antarctica, the Esperanza Base and the Villa Las Estrellas Base. 173. The number of people conducting and supporting scientific research and other work on the continent and its nearby islands varies from about 1,200 in winter to about 4,800 in the summer, with an additional 136 people in the winter to 266 people in the summer from the 2 civilian bases. As of 2017, some of the research stations are staffed year-round, the winter rover personnel typically arriving from their home countries for a 1-year assignment. The Russian Orthodox Holy Trinity Church at the Bellingshausen Station on King George Island opened in 2004. It is manned year-round by 1 or 2 priests, who are similarly rotated every year. 174. 175. The first child born in the southern polar region was a Norwegian girl, Solveig Gunge Sedilla R.G. Jacobsen, born in Grytviken on October 8, 1913. 176. Emilio Marcos Palma was the first person born south of the 60th parallel south and the first to be born on the Antarctic mainland at the Esperanza Base of the Argentine Army. 177. The Antarctic Treaty prohibits any military activity in Antarctica, including the establishment of military bases and fortifications, military maneuvers, and weapons testing. Military personnel or equipment are permitted only for scientific research or other peaceful purposes. 178. Operation 90 by the Argentine military in 1965 was conducted to strengthen Argentina's claim in Antarctica. 179 Better source needed. Politics photograph of the U.S. signing the Antarctic Treaty. The U.S. delegate Herman Folger signs the Antarctic Treaty in December 1959. Antarctica's status is regulated by the 1959 Antarctic Treaty and other related agreements, collectively called the Antarctic Treaty System. Antarctica is defined as all land and ice shelves south of 68 degrees S for the purposes of the treaty system. 1. The treaty was signed by 12 countries, including the Soviet Union, the United Kingdom, Argentina, Chile, Australia, and the United States. Since 1959, a further 42 countries have acceded to the treaty. Countries can participate in decision-making if they can demonstrate that they do significant research on Antarctica. As of 2022, 29 countries have this consultative status. 180 decisions are based on consensus, instead of a vote. The treaty set aside Antarctica as a scientific preserve and established freedom of scientific investigation and environmental protection. 181-182. Territorial Claims. Main article, Territorial Claims in Antarctica. Map of the Spanish Governorate of Terra Australis, 1539 A 1555. The first territorial claim over the lands near the South Pole. Later it was incorporated into the Governorate of Chile. In 1539, the King of Spain, Charles V, created the Governorate of Terra Australis, which encompassed lands south of the Strait of Magellan and thus theoretically Antarctica, the existence of which was only hypothesized at the time. 183, granting this governorate to Pedro Sancho de la Hoz. 184-185. Who in 1540 transferred the title to the conquistador Pedro de Valdivia. 186, Spain claimed all the territories to the south of the Strait of Magellan until the South Pole, with eastern and western borders to these claims specified in the Treaty of Tordesillas and Zaragoza respectively. In 1555 the claim was incorporated to Chile. 187. In the present, sovereignty over regions of Antarctica is claimed by 7 countries. 1. While a few of these countries have mutually recognized each other's claims. 188. The validity of the claims is not recognized universally. 1. New claims on Antarctica have been suspended since 1959, although in 2015, Norway formally defined Queen Maud Land as including the unclaimed area between it and the South Pole. 189. The Argentine, British, and Chilean claims overlap and have caused friction. In 2012, after the British Foreign Commonwealth Office designated a previously unnamed area Queen Elizabeth Land in tribute to Queen Elizabeth II's Diamond Jubilee. 190, the Argentine government protested against the claim. 191, the UK passed some of the areas it claimed to Australia and New Zealand after they achieved independence. The claims by Britain, Australia, New Zealand, France, and Norway do not overlap and are recognized by each other. 188, other member nations of the Antarctic Treaty do not recognize any claim, yet have shown some form of territorial interest in the past. 192. Now let's go back.
Fake K. Just what was that? Just what was that? I can't believe you were being rude to the customers and took one to North Korea and one to Antarctica. That's it. You're fired and banned from every taxi forever. Now as a punishment, take the taxi back and get out. I never wanted to see you as a taxi driver again.